You can respond in chat. Yeah. Thanks for confirmation. So today our workshop session is about the exception handling. Okay, let me open our content file. See, we completed few workshops. First one is like regarding promises, callbacks, and observables. So if you want, you can go through this link. The next workshop we conducted on OOPS. So this is the link you can find in YouTube. I'm going to share that link. The next one is like array methods we discussed. Okay, here. Okay, 2 sessions. So these 2 links you can find here. Okay. So the next one is like today our session is related to exception handling. Okay. Yeah, workshop is like offline as well as online. You can find the link. You can see your mail. You can get the link. Okay. So my name is Srinivas. I have overall 10 years of experience as a UI developer. Okay. So let's come to our actual discussion. Can anyone tell me what is exception? What is exception? Anyone? What is exception? Anyone? Online people. Exception is an error. Okay. Error, runtime error. Okay. What is normal termination and abnormal termination? Normal termination versus abnormal termination. Abnormal termination. Just terminology wise. What is syntax error? What is syntax error? And what is runtime error? Runtime error. Okay, first let's go with these two. After that, you only come to know what is exception. So what is normal termination and what is abnormal termination? Very simple thing. I have some piece of code. Okay, can anyone answer this one? I have, okay, let me open our browser. I want to write all our JavaScript code in the console itself. Let me dock that console in the left side. Now here I'm going to write some code like this console.log of, okay, just start. I don't want to execute a single line. Console.log of 1. Next console.log of 2. Next console.log of, for example, end is there. If I click on enter, then the time what is my output? My output is like start 1, 2, and end. This is the output or not? So in this particular, okay, statements execution, each and every statement executed, starting to ending, each and every statement executed, and my program terminated like what? Normal or abnormal? Every statement, okay, is executed, okay, starting to ending, okay, that one we can say like what? It's a kind of normal termination or not. So here start 1 to end, my starting one and ending one, all the statements executed. In this case we can say like it's a normal termination. Now I'm going to write some code like this. I have one variable is there where loc. Here I'm going to write console.log of loc.length. loc.length. If I write like this, can anyone tell me the output? The first one is like start is going to execute, and where location, one variable created, you not assign any data. What is my default value? Undefined is my default value, and then console.log of 1, console.log of 2, and then console.log of location.length. Yes or no? Location.length. Tell me here, what is my location? It is like undefined. In JavaScript, if you perform any operation on undefined or null, then the time it gives me what? It gives me what? An error. Now, If you click on enter, see this, start executed, one executed, two executed, and then here, okay, my program terminated in between in the middle itself or not. That means in this case, what we can say, now my program terminated like normal or abnormal? Abnormal or not? Starting to ending, each and every statement executed or not executed? Not executed. My program terminated in the middle itself or not? This kind of termination we can say like what? Abnormal termination or not? Now whenever you see the program in this condition, my program is like terminated like abnormal. If you leave the code like this only, line number, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 sixth line, this line will never execute in their entire life or not? If I leave this particular code like this only, how many times we execute? My last statement is going to execute or not execute? Not execute or not? In the entire life, my console.log of end, this particular statement will never execute. Yes or no? Got my point? So that you want me to leave like this, or you want me to provide some alternate solution, okay, to make this program is like normal termination? If you leave like this, it is always abnormal termination only. This particular statement will never execute. So that what we have to do? You want me to leave like this, or you want me to provide some solution for this? You have to provide some solution or not, and make you like what? This particular console.log of end has to be execute, and you have to make your program terminated like normal termination or not? Yes or no? Now you understood, right? Abnormal termination and normal termination, terminology wise. My program end to end executed, starting line to ending line, that is like a normal termination. Due to some reason, my program terminated in the middle itself, that is nothing but abnormal termination or not? Understood or not? If my program terminated like an abnormal, if you leave like this, then what happened? Whatever the remaining statements are there, those remaining statements will never execute in their entire life or not? It is not recommended to leave like this or not? So what we have to do? You have to provide some alternate solution for this or not? Understood everyone? What is normal termination and what is abnormal termination? Everyone agreed? The next one, what is syntax error? What is runtime error? Come on, what is syntax error? What is runtime error? Anyone? Any programming language you can take it. Each and every programming language has their own guidelines or not? You have to follow their guidelines or not? Okay, let's take like JavaScript only. For example, I want to create one function. Okay, how we can create a function? You can write like a function keyword. You can write like fn and close here console.log of fn called. This is my function or not? Yes or no? If I click on this one, see, there is no error, nothing. For example, in between, okay, if I remove this particular parenthesis, if I remove this one, then that what happen? Function keyword is there, fn is like a function name, the function representation there has this particular brace is missing or not, closing brace is missing or not? Now if I click on enter, now see what happened? Uncaught, syntax error, unexpected token, some message given or not? Okay, here my syntax error is nothing but what? If you not follow the guidelines, if you not follow the rules, each and every programming language has their own syntactical rules or not? If you not follow the syntactical rules, then that time you can get the errors like what? Syntax error or not? Whenever in your console, if you see uncaught syntax error, if you see this one, what it means? You did something wrong, like, okay, syntactical, okay, you not follow the proper syntax or not in your code, like that you can come to know or not? Already you know, right? My console contains what? Whenever you run the program, okay, whatever the log messages you can see, at the same time your error message also you can see in the console or not? If you see the syntax error like this, you have to go to that particular code and you have to fix that one or not? Yes or no? Agreed with me? So syntax error, when you can get it? In your program or in your code, if you not follow the syntactical rules, if you not follow the guidelines, then the time you can get the syntax error or not? Okay, next one. What is runtime error? What is runtime error? Simple. while running your program, while executing your program, if you get some error, that error is what? Runtime error or not? Okay, now I'm going to write some code here. See, I have a function. I have a function fn. Inside this particular function, okay, it's take like one parameter location. Here I'm going to write like console.log of, okay, location dot, okay, length, like this I written. Syntactically it is 100% valid or invalid. Okay, let's click on enter. Now if you get like undefined, okay, like this, okay, there is no error, nothing, then the time you can say like what? Then the time you can say like what? There is no syntactical errors or not. Now I want to execute this particular function. So how we can execute? Fn of, for example, Mumbai. If I write, then what is my output? My parameter location is like Mumbai. Mumbai length. Okay, length spelling mistake, right? So that can I change it? Length. Okay, now Fn, if I write like Mumbai, then what happened? My location is like Mumbai dot length. Okay, you can get like output is like 6 or not. Now I'm going to write, okay, my function call without any parameters, now can I run this program? If I run this one, now see, it gives me an error or not. Now tell me, this error, when you get it, syntactically it is 100% valid or not? It is not a syntactical error. Now whenever you run the program or whenever you execute this particular function, you get some error or not? While running your program, while executing the program, if you get any errors, those errors we can say like what? Runtime errors or not? Now tell me, now in this case, this time it is a syntax error or runtime error? It is like a runtime error or not? What is my error name here? Type error. What is this error name? We'll see later. Can you read that error message? Cannot read properties of undefined reading length. That means what? In JavaScript, on undefined value, my LOC, you not passed anything. What is my default value for the variable in JavaScript? Undefined or not? So that cannot read properties of undefined reading length. Most of the times in your applications, you can see this kind of error messages. Sometimes you are expecting the data. Sometimes you may not get the data. Then the time you can get this kind of errors or not. So if you see, the error message is also very, very important. If you see this error, you should have to come to know like what? Yes, I am performing some operation on undefined. I am expecting the data, but I received undefined. There is no data there. Understood or not? Okay, now I'm going to write, can I call my fn again? Okay, now can I place like null? Null also one value only. Now if I click on enter, now see this again, you can get like what? Same error or not? See, cannot read properties of null reading length. Now you can understand like one statement. Now can I perform the operations on undefined on null in JavaScript? Can I perform any operation on undefined or null in JavaScript? No. In JavaScript, we cannot perform any operations on undefined. We cannot perform any operations on what? On null. If you perform some operations, then the time you can get this kind of errors or not. Can you reproduce this error? How we can reproduce this error? By seeing this error message, tell me how we can reproduce this one. Can you write the code when you can get this kind of errors? Reverse. Tell me. I want exactly this error message. Can you reproduce that error? First of all, cannot read property of undefined. That means you are performing the operation on undefined. Can you create one variable with undefined? Okay, how we can create a variable where my runs equals to this one. Now tell me, if you not assign any data, what is my default value for the variable? Undefined. So that my runs are like what? Undefined or not. But here, reading length, that means what? You have to read length on the runs or not. Instead of that one, runs, I don't want to read the length. So can I put like some other address? Can I write it naming convention wise? Address, I can find the length or not? Runs, it is not meaning of what? Finding the length of runs or not. So now I created like one variable called as what? Address with what? What is the default value? Undefined. Now if I write like address dot length, now you can get this error or not? Understood? Yes or no? This is which kind of error? It is like a syntax error or runtime error? Runtime error, right? Syntactical 100% valid. If you observe here, create a variable without any data, valid or not. On that particular variable, you can call one property that is valid or not. Yes or no? Now, can you reproduce this error? Can you reproduce this error? How we can reproduce it? Come on. This time, my address is like undefined or null. My address is like null. Now, cannot read property of null, reading length or not. Understood? Okay, anytime if you see this kind of errors, the fix is what now? The fix is what now? What is the fix for that? That variable should not contains with default value or value undefined or null or not. Other than that, some value is required or not. Otherwise, how we can fix it? Tell me. How we can fix this one? How we can fix this one? One is like simple way without handling any exception. That means without using exception handling, how we can fix it? Whenever my address is there, then only can you perform this operation simply? Yes or no? If the address is not there, don't perform this operation. Yes or no? Okay. Whenever this one also same. Whenever my address is not null, then only I want to perform some operation. Otherwise, don't perform. Like this, we can fix it or not. This is one way. Another way is what? This is which kind of error you said? This is which kind of error? Syntax error or runtime error? Syntax error or runtime error? This is runtime error, right? Okay, now terminology wise, the third point is what? What is an exception? Can I say my exception is like a runtime error? A runtime error, we can say like what? Exception or not. Whenever the exception raised, you want me to leave like this or you want me to handle properly that exception, provide some graceful termination? What do you want me to do? You have to handle that exception and provide some graceful termination to your program or not. So my runtime error, we can say like an exception. Whenever the exception raised, we should not leave like that. We have to handle that exception and provide some graceful termination to my program or not. Understood everyone? First 3 points. What is normal termination and abnormal termination? What is syntax error and runtime error? What is exception? Simply, the exception is nothing but it's a runtime error. That's it. Okay, whenever the runtime error, okay, whenever the exception raised, we should not leave like this. We have to handle it properly or not. Now tell me, what is our next level question? What is our next level question? Okay, how we can handle the exceptions or not? Exception already raised. Okay, so the next question is what? How to handle the exceptions in JavaScript or not? That is the question or not? Agreed with me all or? Okay, so how we can handle the exceptions in JavaScript? How you handle the exceptions in Java? Same like that here also, there has some keywords are there. One is like try. Okay, another one is like catch. Another one is like finally. The next one is also there. Okay, throw. Okay, that keyword also we can learn. So these are the 3 keywords we are going to use to handle our exceptions whenever it is raised or not. Understood everyone? So come on. I said like try, catch, finally. Now tell me syntactically how you want me to use try, how you want me to use like a catch, how you want me to use finally. That is the question or not. Okay, so let's go with that. Up to you, okay, everyone? Yeah. Now this code only you can take it. If you run this one, it terminates the program like normal or abnormal. It's terminated the program like normal or abnormal, where LOC dot length, abnormal termination or not. Now tell me, among these 4 or 5 lines of code, which one is like a problematic statement? As a developer, you know, right? Which one is like a problematic statement? Come on, which one is like a problematic statement? First one is okay, second one is no problem, third one, fourth one also no problem. This one only causes an issue or not? This is my problematic statement or not? First of all, in your code to handle the exceptions, find the problematic statement. Whenever you find the problematic statement, okay, this one only causes an issue, this one only raises an exception or not, so that you can handle the exceptions by using what? By using this try, catch, finally keywords or not. So how we can handle means very simple thing. Wherever the problematic statements are there, keep those problematic statements inside the try. Inside the try. So that this is my problematic statements, right? Try. Try syntactically how it is looks like. Try syntactically, it is a block. It is a block. Block means, okay, just open the brace and closing the brace. Syntactically, this is like a block or not. Try is a block. Try is a block. In this particular block, can I add my problematic statement now? Yes or no? Now, can I click on enter? If I click on enter, now see, it gives me what? It gives me what? Read it. Syntax error or not? What is syntax error? What is syntax error? Okay, you not follow some syntactical rules or not? Can you read this one? Missing catch or finally after try or not? That means what? Only try is like a invalid syntax or not? Only try block is like a invalid syntax. Now when it is like a valid syntax, my try should follow either catch or either finally or not. Then only we can say like what? That is a valid syntax or not. See, this statement is not okay, problematic statement, but is it executed or not executed? See, start 1, 2, not problematic statements. Those statements are executed or not executed? Not executed. Why? You know, when the execution is going to start means whenever the program not having the syntax errors, then only it is going to start the execution. Now, if you observe here, up to here, no errors, no errors, nothing. But those statements executed or not executed? Not executed. Why? Because in my entire program, there has some syntactical errors are there. That the reason it is not start the execution. When it is going to start the execution? All your syntactical errors got fixed, then only it is going to start the execution or not. Agreed with me? What is the syntax error? By seeing this one, only try is not a valid syntax. My try should follow either catch or either finally or not. Both are like valid only or not. Both are like valid only. Now, can I write catch? After that, can I write finally? Okay, let's go. Can I write like a catch first? If I write like a catch, my catch is like which type? Again, it is like a block, you can use it. It is like a function syntax also, you can use it. Can I go with the block first? Okay, how we can go? Come on. Can I write like catch like this? Catch like this. Now tell me, syntactically 100% valid or not? What is my syntax? My try should follow either catch or finally. Now my try is following catch or not? Syntactically valid or not? Now can I click on enter? Okay, now see, my program is what? My program terminated like abnormal or normal? My program terminated like abnormal or normal? Normal termination or not? See, simply start executed, 1, 2 executed. Okay, this is the problematic statement, but my console.log of end executed or not? Yes or no? This is the way we can handle the exception. Simple way you can handle the exception or not. There is multiple things are there. We'll see that. Up to here, okay or not? Okay, tell me something about the try and catch. In the try is like a block. In this try block, we are going to place what? All your problematic statements or not. My try should always follows what? Either catch or finally or not. Either catch or finally. Okay, na? Everyone agreed so far? Okay, then. Now, let me write some console messages in the try and catch. So how we can write it? Console.log of this is my try and console.log of this is my okay catch. This is my catch. Okay, now tell me the output. Tell me exact output. Start it is going to execute. One it is going to execute. The next one, 2 is going to execute. Next one. Try is going to execute. Okay, next one. Console.log of location.length. Location.length. It raises an exception or not? It is a runtime or not? Okay, runtime error or not? It throws an exception. Whenever it throws an exception, then what happen? Whenever it throws an exception, then what happen? It is looking for the corresponding catch block. Okay, for execution or not. So that to handle the exception, it is going to looking for the corresponding catch block. There or not there? Yes, there. So that my console.log of catch is going to execute. Now console.log of end. So finally my output is what? Start, 1, 2, try and catch and end. Yes or no? Okay, my program terminated like normal or abnormal? Okay, normal termination only or not. Now tell me, if I write like this, what is my output? If I write like this, what is my output? Start, 1, 2. Okay, next console.log of location.length. What happened here? My program is like throws an exception here, looking for what? Looking for what? Corresponding catch block or not. So whenever my try block throws an exception, okay, immediately it is going to terminate the execution from the try block or not. Immediately it terminates the execution from the try block. It is not execute each and every line in the try block. So comes to the catch one. Console.log of what? Catch is going to execute and finally the end. So now this time try executed or not executed? Not executed or not. So my question is very simple. Okay, is my execution initiate in the try block or not? Initiate. In the try block, my execution is going to initiate or not in the try block? Yes or no? Try block is going to execute. Okay, next one is like each all the statements in the try block will execute or not? All the statements. All the statements, every time it is going to execute or not? No. Okay, if the exception raised in the try block, from there itself it is going to terminate, remaining statements will not execute or not. Agreed, everyone? So execution, okay, initiate the execution in the try block. Yes, correct. Each and every statement, are you sure? Each and every statement the try block will execute. What is your answer? No. When each and every statement in the try block will execute? When each and every statement in the try block will execute? If the exception not raised or not? If the exception not raised in the try block, how many statements are there? Each and every statement it is going to execute or not? Agreed, everyone? Okay. Any questions, anyone so far? Okay. Okay, then. Now, my try syntactically follows either. Tell me. Either catch or finally. Now, instead of catch, can I write like a finally? It is valid or invalid syntax? It is valid or invalid. Then what is my output? Okay, start, 1 and 2 and 2 and finally and end. Now, if you observe here, see this. What happened? Start executed and 1 executed, 2 executed, finally executed. Is my program terminated normal or abnormal? Abnormal, right? Abnormal, right? Why? See, whenever the exception raised, it is looking for catch for handling the exception or not. Okay, did you handle that exception? Syntactically 100% valid. Yes, syntactically 100% valid. My try is going to follow either catch or finally. Syntactically 100% valid. But whenever the exception raised in the try block, it is looking for what? Catch block. Catch block there. Catch block is not there. That's the reason what happened. Okay, my finally block executed, my program terminated like what? Normal or abnormal? Abnormal termination or not? So that whenever you are trying to handle the exception, make sure my try should follow what? Catch or not. If the catch is not there, there is no meaning of handling that exception or not. Understood or not? So that try should follow what? Catch or not. Agreed, everyone? All are okay? Okay, then. Now tell me, what is my output? Now, what is my output? Start. My location this time is what? Mumbai. Okay. 1, 2. Console.log of location.length. Location there or not there? Yes, there this time. So that 6. And then console.log of try. The next console.log of try is going to execute next. Exception not raised. That the reason catch, it is looking for catch or not? It is not looking for the catch. When it is going to looking for the catch? Whenever my try throws an exception or not. This time it throws or not thrown? It is not thrown. So that catch block is not required. It is not looking for the catch block. And then finally end my program terminated like normal termination or not. Did you observe one thing? And the last one, location is like undefined, exception thrown, then the time finally executed or not executed? Executed. Now exception not thrown, finally executed or not executed? Executed. That means, can you tell me one statement about the finally block? My finally also block only. Tell me one statement about the finally. Either exception raised in the try block, either exception not raised in the try block, always my finally block is going to execute or not. Understood or not? That is about finally. Okay. So syntactically, my try and finally is like what? Both are like blocks only. About the catch, my catch is a block as well as my catch is like what? As well as my catch is like what? My catch is like a function syntax also. Okay, shall we see that one? Okay, up to here, okay, everyone. Now tell me, if I write like this, only try, valid or invalid? Valid or invalid? Invalid. Okay, try and finally, valid or invalid? Syntactically, valid or not? Try and catch, valid or invalid? Okay, it is also valid or not? Try and finally and catch, valid or invalid? Valid or invalid? It is invalid. Okay, try and finally treat like what? One block, one, okay, problem, okay, one statement you can say, okay, this is like try and finally, it is like valid syntax. Now catch is like what? Only one catch is there. So that my catch is always what? Bind with your try, right? So the try is missing or not. So that it is like invalid syntax. Now this one is valid or invalid? This one is valid or invalid? Okay, it is like 100% valid. It is like 100% valid. Okay, now in Java, there has multiple catch blocks, we can write it. But here, if I write like multiple catch blocks, it is like valid or invalid? Okay, syntactically, it is like invalid. Okay, there is no, okay, multiple catch blocks not works here in JavaScript. Understood or not? Everyone agreed? All are okay? So far good? Okay, then. Now let's come back to this one. Try is there and catch is there and finally also there. Now if I write console dot log of, okay, catch, what is my output now? What is my output now? Come on. Start 1, 2, location dot length is like what? 6. The next one, try, exception raised or not raised? Not raised. It is not looking for what? Catch block. Okay, next. Come on, finally, and then end. So here my catch is not executed or not. Now tell me my question. My statements in the catch block, will it execute or not execute? Okay, it is like always execute or not execute? Not execute or not? At least my execution initiate in the catch block or not? My execution initiated in the catch block or not? No, right? No, right? When my catch block is going to execute? Whenever my try throws an exception or not? If my try not throw, my catch block is not execute or not? Yes or no? So one thing is like my execution initiated in the catch block. Yes, no. Always it is going to execute. Execution initiated in the catch block. Yes, no. No. When my catch block is going to execute? Whenever my try throws an exception only or not. Okay. Okay, then. Now tell me the output. This one you know now. My location. Tell me the output. Okay, if I write like this, what is my output? Start 1, 2, and try. Initiated execution or not? Try always initiate execution. Next, console.log of location.length. My location is like what? Undefined. Okay, throws an exception. Whenever my exception thrown in the try block, looking for what? Corresponding catch block or not. There or not there? Yes, there, so that my catch is going to execute. And then exception raised or not raised, always finally block is going to execute. My console.log of end, it is going to execute it or not. Yes or no? But my thing is, okay, exception raised, right? Can you tell me the exception message? What is the exception message in this case? What is the exception message? Cannot read property of undefined reading length or not. That exception message I want to print in my console. Then only, right, my developer can come to know. So that tell me what kind of exception message, what is the exception type? I want to see that one. Tell me how we can. How we can. The exception message, exception full details I want. Then how we can. Come on. My catch, another syntax also there, right? What is that another syntax? My catch you can use like a block, and my catch is used like what? Your, come on, your function syntax also you can use it or not. Now tell me, you can think this is like a function. Now this function called by whom? When it is going to call? This function, when it is going to call? Whenever the exception raised in the try block or not. That function called, right? While calling a function, can we pass some parameters also or not? So how many parameters they passed? One parameter. If the parameter name can be anything or not. My parameter means what? It holding the value. Name can be anything or not. So can I use that name ex like this? Now can I write console.log of, okay, that exception? Can I print it? Can I print it? Now, if I click on enter, what is my output? Start, 1, 2, next, try, next, exception raised. Okay, whenever the exception raised, looking for what? Catch. Now, this time catch is a block or catch is a function? Function. Whenever my catch is a function, it is going to call by passing how many parameters? By passing how many parameters? Whenever the catch is like a function, they are going to call by passing how many parameters? One parameter or not? What is that parameter? That is the question. We'll see that one. That parameter tells something what? Tells something your exception details or not. And then my final block is going to execute, and then my end is going to execute. Now see, okay, what happened? Console.log of the exception, right? Can I refresh once? This is my exception message, right? Console.log of exception. Can I click on enter? Try block executed, location dot length, my exception thrown. Try finally, console spelling mistake, right? Again, reference error, you can get it. Okay, here, what is that? Console, C capital or small? C small, right? Now can I click on enter? Now start executed, 1 executed, and 2 executed. Try as usual. The next one is what? Catch block executed. In the catch block, did you observe this one? You print exception message or not? What is my exception? See, type error, cannot read property of undefined reading length, something like this or not? Yes or no? After that, exception raised or not raised, final executed, and then my end executed. Yes or no? So my program finally terminated like what? Abnormal or normal? Normal termination or not. So that now my catch is a function they called by passing one parameter or not. Now tell me something about what is this parameter? What is this parameter? That is the question. What is this parameter? That is the question. Anyone knows about that parameter? This parameter? Don't know? Okay, then. Now, if you observe here, see, my catch type error is there, right? Okay, this type error is which type? Anyone knows? This type error is which type? This type error is which type? Okay, then. Now, come here. Tell me some exceptions, what you know. Tell me some exceptions, what you know. First, if I write A, if I click on enter, what happened? If I click on enter, what happened? A there or not there? First tell me. A is there or not there? A is there or not there? Where x equals to 10. What is my x value? What is my x value? 10. Y. What is my y value? What is my y value? Is my y defined or not defined? At least my y is not defined, right? Whenever my y is not defined, my JavaScript people is looking for what? Okay, looking for y. Y is not there. Then the time they throws an exception or not. What is that exception? Uncaught reference error or not? Yes or no? Uncaught reference error. What is my error message? Y is not defined. It is an error message or not? And then if you come here, in which line that error occurred? Okay, here is my error or not? If you observe in this exception, there has three sections are there. Okay, first one is what? Your exception class. This is reference error is what? Your exception class. The next one is what? Come on. This is your exception message or not? What is the message? What is the message here? Y is not defined or not? The next one we can say like a stack trace. Where exactly the exception raised at line number 1? Okay, at line number 1, which character? First character only the exception raised or not? It is a kind of what? Stack trace you can say. So whenever the exception raised, they given us like this much information or not, which contains three sections. One is like your exception class. Okay, another one is like your exception message. The next one is like what? Exception occurred in which line? This is one kind of exception or not? The next one more exception you can take it. Where a dot length. Okay, just now we discussed. What is that error? Uncaught cannot read property of undefined at line number 2 at third character or not. Yes or no? Now tell me, they created an object, okay, for which class? Type error is my class or not? Here, what is the message? Cannot read property of undefined. Reading length is the message or not? What is my stack trace here? At line number 2, in my third character, my exception raised or not? This is the information, right? So that whenever the exception raised, what my JavaScript people is going to do? They are going to create an object for the corresponding exception class or not. So here reference error is what? One exception class. And type error is what? One class. In JavaScript, how many classes are there? There has multiple classes are there. See my reference error. One class there or not there? What kind of class this is? Already we discussed about the whoops concepts, right? Okay, what is the type of this class? It is like a functional class or not? It is like a functional class. Now see the type error. This is also what? One class or not? Like this, there has multiple error classes are there. See, in JavaScript, these many errors you can see. Classes. Understood or not? See, here DOM error is there, GP error, RTC, URI error. Like this, these many errors you may get it. Understood or not? Whenever the exception raised, okay, the corresponding exception class you can see. The next one is what? Exception message you can see. The next one is what? Come on, stack trace you can see or not? Now come here the question. Whenever the exception raised, whenever the exception raised, whenever the exception raised in the try block, if my catch block is like a function, okay, that function called by passing how many parameters? First question. Whenever my try block throws an exception, okay, looking for which block? Catch block. If my catch may be block, maybe function. If it is a function, it called by passing how many parameters? One parameter or not? What is that parameter? That is the question. That parameter, what you know? That parameter is an object of each and every exception is related to one class, right? That parameter is an object of that particular exception class. Understood or not? Okay, so that here in this case, tell me, my E is an object of which class? Come on, LOC dot length is an object of which class? Come on, LOC dot length cannot read property of undefined is which class? type error. So that my E is an object of which class? Type error class or not. That means simply I can write like this, where E equals to new type error. They created an object for this one. That object they pass it to my catch block or catch function or not. Agreed everyone? Yes or no? Whenever the exception raised in the try block, looking for what? Catch. Catch maybe block, maybe function. If it is a block, no problem at all. They not pass anything. If it is like a function, they passed how many parameters? One parameter or not? What is that parameter? Is an object. Object of which class? The corresponding exception class or not? How many exception classes are there? There has multiple exception classes are there. There has multiple exception classes are there. Like this, if you type, these many exception classes are there or not? Yes or no? Based on that one, whenever the exception raised, if my catch is a function, they create an object for that particular exception class and pass as a parameter or not. Agreed everyone? Yes or no? Online? So this is an object of which class? Type error class. Now my question is, if you have an object of one class, tell me what we can do with that object. If you have an object of one class, what we can do? Class object is with you. What we can do? Come on. Class object is with you. What we can do? You can access the members of a class, right? If you have an object of a class, what we can do? You can access the members of a class by using dot notation or not. Now my question is, this E is an object of which class you said? Type error. So that type error class contains how many members? We can call that members or not. Now tell me how we can see the type error class contains how many members? I want to see the type error predefined class contains how many members? How we can see? Come on, how we can see? Directly, my type error is the class. My type error has how many members? Dot prototype. Now observe, my type error has one member is like what? Name. Another member is like what? Message or not? Yes or no? Message or not? Now again you can see here, error is there, not type error. What is this error? We'll see that one. Now finally, my type error class contains how many members? Type error class contains how many members? Two members. What are those? Name and message. If you have an object of type error, can I call what? Can I call name? Can I call message or not? Can we call that one? Let's go and call. Now come here. Now E, you can leave like that. Console.log of E dot message. Yes or no? The next one. Console.log of E dot what? Name. Can I write like this? Yes or no? Can I click on enter? Now observe here. Start to 1 to try catch. This is your exception whole information. By using that object, if I call the message, what is my message? Exactly message is what? Cannot read property of undefined reading length. This is the message or not? What is my name? Type error is my name or not? Remaining all are like what? Finally and executed or not? Understood everyone? Okay, can we repeat again? Whenever my try block, okay, raises an exception. In the try block, raises an exception, throws an exception, looking for what? Catch. My catch can be what? Either block, either function. If it is a block, that block is going to execute. If it is a function, called by passing how many parameters? One parameter or not? What is that parameter? That is an object of the corresponding exception class or not? Yes or no? If you have an object of that corresponding exception class, that particular class, how many members are there? We can call that members by using that object or not? Yes or no? Agreed everyone? Okay, so that tell me each and every class how many members are there? Okay, type error contains how many members? Two members. Can we check for the reference error? Okay, reference error is the class. Can you see this? Okay, can I see some other also? URI error. Can I check? Each and every exception class contains two members only. What are those? One is like name, another one is like message. Now you can ask a question. Hey, reference error, if I see prototype, error only there. UR error only there. And the next one is like a type error. Okay, dot prototype, error only there. What is this error? I'm expecting like type error, but here error is there. Why? That is the question or not? Yes or no? Online. Got my point? Okay, why it is showing like that? Why it is showing like that? Okay, let me give one simple example. Okay, it's a whoops concept. Okay, just spend 5 minutes. I have a class. Okay, this is my class A. Okay, this is simple normal class only or not? A dot prototype. Okay, A dot prototype. Simply it is showing like what? Nothing is there. One object is showing or not? Yes or no? Now I have one class like this. My class A. The next one is like one more class is like what? B. My class A contains some of the members. My name equals to, okay, A like this. My class A contains how many members? One member, that is one variable is there. My class B is like extends from A, for example. Okay, now my name inherited into my B class or not? Okay, here my location equals to Mumbai. Think like that. Think like that. How many classes are there? There has two classes are there. One is like class A, another one is like class B. My class B is extends from where? Extends from A or not? Now can I click on enter? Can I click on enter? Now my B is extends from where? My B is extends from where? A class or not? Now if I write like B dot prototype, observe here, you can see like what? A here or not? Yes or no? You can understand like what? Okay, prototype is nothing but which is like my class is extends from where that class object it is going to provide or not. Yes or no? Prototype we used for what? For accept, okay, for inheritance or not. Yes or no? So that here also, if you see my reference error, who created? JavaScript people. B, who created? You created. If write B dot prototype, my B is extends from where? A, so that is visible or not? Reference dot prototype. Okay, that is extends from where now? Error class or not? Yes or no? You can take like a type error dot prototype. Now my type error is extends from where? Okay, type error extends from where? Error class or not? Now tell me, each and every error class in JavaScript is extends from which class? Error class or not? Okay, what is that error class? Okay, can I see that error class? Error also one kind of what? Functional class only or not? That error class contains how many members? That error class contains how many members? There are three members are there or not? One is like what? Name, message, and two string method also there or not? These all members inherited into which class? Your type error, your reference error, URI error, all the error classes or not? Agreed with me, everyone? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, then. Can you answer this question? Okay, repeatedly, most of the times they are going to ask. I have a function, okay, fn, try, return 10, catch, return 20, and finally return 30. Return 30. What is my output? Return 30. What is my output? Come on. What is my output? My fn, if I call my fn, okay, what is my output? Come on, in general, what do you think? My try block always initiate the execution or not? Whenever it is initiate the execution, okay, now my try block is going to execute the statement or not? In your function, whenever the return statement executed, my program terminated, my function execution terminated there itself, and my value is what? 10 is my value or not? That is our, okay, actual out, okay, actual, okay, we are thinking like what? My 10 is my output or not? Now can we check it? Now if you come here, my output is like a 30. Why? Because whenever my try initiated, my finally is going to execute either exception raised or not raised. Yes or no? So whenever my try terminated, okay, try return the value, my try not terminated there itself, looking for which block? Either exception raised or not raised. Looking for which block? Okay, finally block or not, so that my finally block is going to execute. So finally, what is my output? Return 30 or not? My function, how many values it is going to return? One value at a time it is going to return or not? But in general, we thought like what? Okay, return statement executed here, so that my try block, okay, there itself it is going to terminate. My value is like a 10 or not? That is our, okay, in our mind it is going to think like that only or not? But the thing is, what happened? Whenever my try initiated the execution, exception there, go to the catch, and finally, exception not there, go to where? Finally or not. So finally it is going to execute, and then only it is going to terminate your program or not. So that from here it is not terminate, and finally, what is my return value? My return value is like 30, it is going to execute or not? Agreed, everyone? Okay, now what is my output? What is my output? Come on, what is my output? 20, 30 only, right? Why? Because the same story. Try block executed, try throws an exception, catch block executed. After that, finally what? Finally, if it is there, finally is going to execute it, right? Which one is the last one? Finally, 30 only or not? Okay. Now, can I remove this one? What is my output? What is my output? Now, the answer is like 20. Why? Because try executed, my catch. Come on, my catch. Try throws an exception. Corresponding catch block is going to execute or not? At that moment, my return value is what? 20. Finally, there or not there? Not there. So that value only is going to return or not? Yes or no? No. No. Come on. Okay, now 10, right? Why you think more? Now 10, right? Okay, try block executed. My try is not throws any exception. Catch is not executed. Finally, not there. So that what is my return value? 10 only. That one only it is going to return or not? Understood, everyone? Okay, most of the times they are going to ask this. Okay. Okay, then. Now you understood about the try catch finally or not? Try catch finally. Agreed, everyone? Okay, the next one is what? Throw. What is throw? Come on, this is an important one. What is throw? What is throw? Yeah. See, so far, who throws an exception? Tell me. Who throws an exception? For example, if I write var a, okay, a dot length, who throws this exception? Who throws this exception? JavaScript people, right? Yes or no? JavaScript people or not? They have some guidelines. We should not perform some operations on the undefined. Okay, before declaring a variable, you should not call that one. Like that, some of the exceptions my JavaScript people only thrown or not. So in this also, where a undefined you are performing some operation, my JavaScript people throws an exception or not. How they throw an exception in general? How they thrown? Already they written the code. What code they written? Maybe. What code they written? Come on, what code they written? They written the code like this. This is an exception, right? Exception thrown, right? Which class exception that is? Which class exception that is? Tell me. Type error. Type error. So that they create an object for which class? Which class? Type error. Now, what is the message? Come on, what is the message? Cannot read property of undefined reading length. This is the message or not? See, whenever the exception raised by the JavaScript people, they created an object for which class? The corresponding class, and give it to catch block if it is there. Okay, in this case, not there. Okay, so that directly it is going to show in the console or not? Okay, now they created an object for which class type error, but that exception has to throw, right? Okay, how they are going to throw? By using which keyword? By using throw keyword, they thrown. That's it. Understood or not? Okay, you created an object for the exception class. If you not throw, then that what happened? Nothing will happen. That object is with JavaScript people only. What we have to do? You have to throw that exception or not. So this work done by whom? JavaScript people, they already written. Okay, for few scenarios. One scenario is like this kind of only. Should not perform operations on the null. Should not perform operations on the undefined. Okay, reference error, that kind of errors they did it or not? Yes or no? Let's go with the next one. Okay, if I write like y, what is the error? What is the error? Y is not defined. Which kind of error that is? Reference error or not? How the JavaScript people throw that error? Come on. They create an object for reference error or not? Reference error. What is their exception message? Y is not defined. Is my exception message or not? Once you create an object, if it is keep with JavaScript people, nothing will happen. What they did? Exception object is there. What they did? They throw that object or not? By using which keyword? By using throw keyword or not? Understood or not? Okay, now tell me why we go for throw. Why we go for throw an exception? That's it. Throw an exception or not. So far, first these two exceptions, who thrown? JavaScript people thrown or not? Can you do one thing? Can you throw your own exception? Can you throw your own exception? Yes or no? Can you create the exception class? How the reference error, how the type error, same like that. Can you create your exception class? Can you throw your own exception class object? Yes or no? That means what? You have to create your own custom exception class or not. You have to create your own custom exception class or not. When you can go with that custom exceptions? JavaScript people always not satisfied your business requirement, right? For example, take one simple business requirement. For example, I have, okay, one salary variable is there. Salary equals to -1,000. As per JavaScript, this is like valid or invalid? As per JS, it is like normal variable whose name is like SAL, whose value is like -1,000 or not. It is like normal variable. That's it. JavaScript file, they check like what? Data there, not there. But the data valid or invalid, that is your business requirement. As per my business requirement, salary should not be negative. Salary should not be negative. That is my requirement. But JavaScript side, this is not salary. This is like a SAL, one variable name. -1,000 is like a variable value. Data there or not there? Yes, there. As per JavaScript, it is like 100% valid or not. But as per my business rule, it is invalid, right? My salary should not be negative or not. Now tell me, is this exception thrown by JavaScript anytime? No, right? No, right? Why? Because it is like normal variable only. That's it. So what we have to do in our case? Get sal. One method I written. Okay, here this is my salary. Okay, here console.log of my salary is okay plus sal. Done. Okay, can I write like get a sal of 1,000? It is 100% valid. My salary is like 1,000. It's okay. If I put like my salary is like minus, then the time is it like valid? Anyone's salary is like in negative? No, right? No, right? In this case, my business requirement is okay. But in this case, whenever it is like a negative, you have to show some message, right? What is that message? You have to throw one exception. What is that exception? Salary should not be negative. Okay, like this. See, the exception class is like this, right? Reference error, who created? JavaScript people. So can you create your own error? Sal error? Yes or no? What is this message? Your Y is not defined. JavaScript people, they set the message. Here, can you set your message? Shall should not be, okay, negative. Can you set your message? The stack trace, they are going to take care. Which line throws an exception? That is only stack trace or not? Now my question is, you have to create a exception class like this. And what JavaScript people did? Come on. What JavaScript people did whenever exception raised? They create an object for which class? Sal error class. Okay, there reference error. Here sal error. What is my exception message? Salary should not be negative. This is my exception message. Whenever you throw, no, my exception is looks like this or not. Yes or no? This work you have to do now. This work you have to do now. Whenever my salary is like negative, you have to throw my salary error exception. Understood or not? Now tell me, first of all, if you want to create an object for sal error, you have to create a class, right? Yes or no? This class should equals to what? Reference error and type error or not? Now tell me, my reference error. Who is the parent for my reference error? Who is the super class for my reference error? All errors, okay, extends from error or not? So that yours also, your class also should extends from where? Error class or not? So that can I create a class like that? Okay, let's go and create the class. Now, can I write the class sal error, which is extends from where? Which is extends from where? Error class or not? Done. Okay, next, come on. If you extends from error class, how many members inherited into your class? How many members? 3 members. What are those? Name, the next message, toString or not? What is the name? What is the name? Error is the name. Now you want error, you want sal error. Sal error. That means you have to override that name or not? Yes or no? How we can override? Come on. Can I create the constructor? First time load only, I want to create some variables and everything. Come on, how we can? Console dot constructor. Constructor. Here, my variable name is what? Which variable you want me to override? This dot name equals to what? Sal error or not? Okay, whatever the error name come to my sal error, that one override by my own name or not? Yes or no? Understood or not? Okay, done. The next one. You created an object for which class here? Sal error. While creating an object, you are passing what? Some message. Now tell me, while creating an object, if you want to pass some data, yes, you can pass like this. Then how we can hold the data? In the constructor or not? Whenever the object created, which method is executed in the class? Constructor or not? So that whenever you create an object for the sal error, my sal error constructor executed by passing what? Your message as a parameter or not? That message can I assign to my variable what? Message. Yes or no? If you pass like salary should not be negative, okay, that message assigned to what? My message variable or not? By default, my message variable inside the reference error or whatever it is what? Empty, right? That empty override with your name or not? Yes or no? How many members you override? Which is coming from error now? 2. One is like name you override with sal error. Another one is what? Message also you overridden or not? Whenever the constructor you created, you are the responsible person to call what? Your superclass constructor to perform initialization of my superclass members or not? This is the OOPS concept. Up to here done, everyone. My sal error is ready. Okay, equal to my reference error or not, which is a exception class. Okay, which is like what? Extends from your error. Whatever the members you want to override, you can override it. Done. My sal error is ready. Now tell me here. Whenever my salary is like negative, my salary is like less than 0, then that what you have to do? Can you throw the exception? Okay, how we can throw the exception? Come on, throw new sal error. You have to throw it or not? Whenever the exception thrown, then what happened? My program terminated there itself or not? Yes or no? Can I click on enter? Okay, now get sal of 1000. Okay, positive or negative? Positive. So that this block not executed, that's okay, fine. Now if I write the same statement minus 1000, observe here, uncaught sal error. Okay, now the message has to become here. Why not come? We'll see. And this is the stack trace line or not. Yes or no? Okay, now see why the message. MESSCAGE spelling mistake, huh? Not a. Okay, check why. Error dot prototype. MESSAGE, right? Message, nothing is there. Now, can you come here? Sal error. This dot message and this dot message. CYNSTRUCT or constructor. Everything is okay, right? Okay. Instead of writing here, okay, can I give this one to my super class only? Can you try this one? Enter. So that can I call this now get the salary of 1000? It's like normal only. Get the salary of minus 1000. Now sal error, salary should not be negative, your exception message, and this is your stack trace or not. Okay, this is equals to what? Your reference error, your type error, everything is like this only or not. So this is the way you can create your own exception classes or not. I can say like what? Custom exceptions or not. Everyone agreed? Okay, so it is always recommended in your code handling the exceptions or not, because any exception raised, if you not handle that exception, then that what happened? Obviously, your application is going to crash or not. It is recommended to handle always the exception, so that whatever the code you written, just enclose it with try and catch and write the log messages, so that you can come to know like what as a developer, what exactly the error message, where exactly the error message, the line number, all this stuff you can find it or not. All are okay? Any questions, anyone? Okay, this is about exception handling. Okay, the next workshop is related to browsers. Yeah, go to this website uijavakit.com. Okay, let me share this website with you. Okay, uijavakit.com. React, you can click. Okay, you have one link you can find in the download one. Okay, workshop link. Just you can click on this workshop link. Okay, so that you can get all these links and everything. You can go through the promises and hoops and array methods, all this stuff. Okay, if you have any questions, just you can drop a mail to this mail ID. Feedback section, one mail ID is there. Just you can go through this one. Okay, just you can drop a mail. I can check and I'll get back to you. Okay, I'll upload within 1 hour. After 1 hour, you can download from here, from this workshop link. If you download now, you can get the previous workshop details. You can, if you want, you can. Okay, the latest one, today's workshop, after 1 hour, you can download. Okay. Any questions, anyone? Okay, then I'll provide you the video link also. Okay, once I get that video link, it's take like 1 hour time. Once I get the video link, I will provide you the video link also here. You can go through that video. once you download. Okay, then bye.